So the Trump admin wants you guys to gamble even more. Watch this.
Here, over the past year, American prediction markets have been hit with an onslaught of state led litigation. In response, the CFTC has today filed a friend of the court brief to defend its exclusive jurisdiction over these derivative markets. The CFTC has regulated these markets for over 2 decades. They provide useful functions for society by allowing everyday Americans to hedge commercial risks like increases in temperature and energy price spikes. They also
Wait, what? I didn't even hear. This is the second time I'm listening to this. He's saying that this is useful to hedge against temperature spikes.
Yeah, I guess in the derivative market, I guess there's a way to bet on futures with temperature spikes. Not
How does
sure
that
of.
how does that benefit us? Like the normal person, how does that benefit us?
I have no idea. I mean, the thing is, when he's talking about temperature spikes, I know you can go on to Kalshi or some of these sites and bet on what tomorrow's weather is going to be.
Let's go on.
like increases in temperature and energy price spikes. They also serve as an important check on our news media and our information streams. Today, the CFTC is taking an important step to ensure that these markets have a place here in America and have the integrity and resilience and vibrancy that our derivatives markets deserve. To those who seek to challenge our authority in this space, let me be clear. We will see you in court.
I'm going to come out with a hot take. Gambling was better when the mob controlled it. And I stand by that. I stand on that. Gambling was better when you either had to go to Vegas or you had to go to Atlantic City or you had to find Sonny or Fredo to put a couple of bucks on the game on Sunday. Because here's the thing with Sonny and Fredo. Sonny and Fredo don't have the time to figure out how long a press conference is going to be. They could care. They're not going to take bets on what the weather's going to be like tomorrow, how many inches of snow there's going to be. They don't have time to figure out what are going to be the odds on when we're going to go ahead and invade Venezuela. They're too busy worrying about the Eagles line or the Cowboys line or the Yankees line. That's it. Another good thing about Sonny, there was a barrier of fucking entry. You couldn't just have one of these and a credit card and a credit score and take out margin to make a bet on what the weather's going to be like tomorrow. Because God forbid you're wrong and now you took out a $5,000 margin on a bet. You never pay it back, fucks up the economy. And worst case scenario, you're throwing in collections or you have to file for bankruptcy. I don't even think you could for $5,000. Sonny's breaking your legs for $5,000. He's not giving you $5,000 in credit unless he trusts you. And when you use that credit, and if you don't pay him back, he's breaking your fucking legs. It was better that way. It really was. Everybody doesn't need to be gambling all the time on everything. This is horrible.
There was certainly less gambling going on during those times. There's studies out there that show that young men's bankruptcies are significantly higher in states that legalize sports betting versus states that don't. And the states are like basically right next to each other. So you can see the impact that it's having on young people's finances, young men, really, specifically. Right. And I just don't know why Kalshi is essentially a civil right where the federal government is telling states that they can't ban Kalshi platforms from their state.
Well, because it has to do with anonymity, and it has to do with the fact that it seems like, there's been some pretty suspect bets that took place, maybe with some inside information. Because that's another thing about Sonny. Sonny doesn't have all the resources in the world to get all the inside information. He's just playing the odds. That's it. He doesn't have an inside track. But, people in the government, I mean, there was a story with the Bad Bunny Super Bowl. Right? Somebody bet and they got screwed on this, right? They thought that they said that Cardi B wasn't going to perform, right? They knew they were a part of the show. They bet that Cardi B wasn't going to perform, but she was dancing in front of the house for about 4 seconds, made a cameo, and they consider that a performance. That guy's assed out. But I mean, look at this. Like that's something trivial, right? It's a Super Bowl. Who cares? This is Levitt's abrupt stage exit triggers insider trading accusations in prediction market. So if we could see this, bettors noted the briefing had a 98% chance to run past 65 minutes. Instead, she exited with 30 seconds to spare. There's more examples. So this one, prediction markets draw fresh scrutiny after massive Maduro bet. Remember when we went into Venezuela? And this one says, yep, here it is. The user who created an account in December placed wagers only on 4 events, each related to the Venezuelan operation between the 27th of December and January 3rd. They bet more than $32,000 that the Venezuelan president would be out by January 31st, resulting in a payout of more than $400,000. Amazing return on your investment. Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's insider trading. And it makes sense because they're not random, occurrences. You can very easily get insider information about like when is X going to happen, like invading Venezuela.
Right. There's this channel that I really enjoy, Atriarch. And he says like he could see this going down a spiral where eventually like you're able to bet on local elections and like super duper local minuscule elections where there's not a ton of oversight, where maybe that, the person that's going to make the bet is counting the votes. And we're talking about a town of, 20,000 people or 1,000 people or 5,000 people. And maybe they make $500 because they're getting everybody to bet on everything. This is an epidemic. This is truly an epidemic. Again, there used to be a barrier of entry and now there's no barrier of entry. And now you could bet on anything your mind could possibly think of.
Yeah, and if we had a functioning government, right, a real government, they would look to these betting markets and basically say, what is the purpose? And if a state like, Indiana or whatever was like, hey, I don't think we should have Kalshi in the state, the federal government would say, states' rights, that's your decision.
At the bare minimum, regulate it like you do a regular bets. They don't even call it bets. They don't even call it gambling. They
that's
call
how
it
they get
a
around.
prediction market. They call it securities and prediction markets.
That's how they get betting regulations. But, you would think that the Trump administration, because they're Republican, that they would be for limited government. But then you find out that Don Jr. is an investor in Kalshi, and then it starts making a lot more sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So it makes a lot more sense. I mean, the Trumps are good at anything. It's grabbing money from their supporters and from American taxpayers. So that's where we're at.
That's where we're at. Well, listen, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, and hit the bell icon to get notified when we drop a new episode. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.